Today's press conference didn't just inform Canadians, it redefined Canada's economic identity. And the moment it happened wasn't when Mark Carney announced billions in investment, or when he unveiled one of the most aggressive industrial strategies in modern history. It happened in the first 8 seconds, with one expression. A smirk. A razor-thin, confident, almost amused lift of the lips that told the world everything they needed to know. Yes, other countries are now regretting the deals they signed with Donald Trump. And no, Canada will not be joining them. The reporter asked if Carney sensed global remorse toward U.S. trade agreements. Carney didn't even need words. That split-second reaction carried more truth than any political statement. It was the quiet certainty of a leader who already knows the global landscape is shifting, and knows Canada is finally shifting with it. And when he did answer, he didn't take the bait. He didn't spiral into Trump talk.
Before moving forward, do subscribe for Parliament updates.
He didn't scold, exaggerate, or grandstand. He calmly made the point, every country wants deeper ties with Canada, not the other way around. Then he pivoted straight back to the real mission, making Canada masters of our own house. This is where the tone changed. For months, journalists have been trying to drag Carney into the entertainment circus of U.S. politics. But today, he drew a clear line. When another reporter tried again, pressing him about his latest conversation with Trump, Carney delivered the cleanest shutdown of the year. My exchange with the president wasn't newsworthy. No dramatics. No details. No oxygen for the chaos. Just a subtle reminder, Canada is not the supporting character in America's political theater. And then, Carney began building a new economic world right in front of the cameras. He explained what countless economists have whispered for months. The decades-long Canada-US economic era is over. Not collapsing, ending. Not weakening, transforming. Canada is no longer shaping its future around U.S. stability, because U.S. stability no longer exists. And instead of panicking, Carney did the opposite. He laid out a plan so confident, so sweeping, and so unapologetically Canadian that you could feel the room shift. He revealed a strategy built on 3 pillars: resilience, independence, and Canadian strength. Carney detailed how foreign steel has been undercutting Canadian workers for years, and how that door is now slamming shut. He announced cuts to foreign steel access, priority for Canadian materials in every major federal contract, and one of the boldest structural changes in decades, Canada will now build internal demand for Canadian products, not foreign ones. Then came the freight announcement, and that one landed like a bomb. A 50% cut in the cost of shipping steel and lumber across Canada. This one move lowers the cost of construction, reduces housing expenses, boosts industry competitiveness, and strengthens every link in the supply chain. People won't understand how big this is until they start seeing the ripple effects in real life, but the economic impact is enormous. And this wasn't theory. This wasn't a plan to plan. Carney backed it with proof: 14,000 jobs saved, 120,000 new jobs created, billions in liquidity relief, and an active strategy that is already reshaping the country's industrial foundation. Then, almost casually, Carney dropped the global bombshell. A $70 billion investment from the UAE. And fresh economic agreements with South Africa. While some reporters still obsess over Trump's mood or Trump's phone calls, 2 of the most influential emerging economies on Earth are throwing tens of billions of dollars into Canada's future. Why? Because global investors trust Canada's stability more than the U.S. Because Carney is projecting calm in a geopolitical storm. Because Canada is no longer waiting for American permission to grow. Every part of today's press conference signaled a new era, one where Canada stands on its own terms, with its own markets, its own supply chains, and its own economic destiny. And it all started with that smirk. Near the end of the press conference, another reporter tried one last time to drag Carney back into speculation and political theater. They asked whether today's sweeping announcements meant Canada had given up on reaching a deal with the United States. Carney didn't even blink. He didn't hesitate. He didn't soften the message. He delivered the most important line of the entire day, the line that defined everything he had done, everything he is doing, and everything he is building. This government will do whatever it takes to protect our sectors, and to position them for the new global economy. Not desperate. Not begging. Not waiting for another country to decide Canada's future. Whatever it takes. This was the moment the entire narrative locked into place. Because what Carney made clear, without raising his voice, without theatrics, without a single dramatic gesture, is that Canada is no longer defending itself. Canada is rebuilding itself. Stronger. More independent. More resilient than at any point in the last generation. When he spoke about building Canada, at a scale and a pace we haven't seen before, it wasn't political language. It was a mission statement. A declaration that the age of waiting on U.S. decisions is over, and the age of shaping our own destiny has begun. Carney ended the press conference the same way he started it, steady, controlled, and completely unshaken. No theatrics. No chaos. No insecurity. Just a leader who knows exactly where the country is heading, and why. And that final impression is what hit hardest. Not just the policies, not just the investments, not just the numbers. It was the certainty. The calm. The unspoken message that echoed louder than any headline. Canada is done living in anyone's shadow. Today wasn't a press conference. It was a turning point. A blueprint for a country that refuses to bend, refuses to panic, and refuses to be dragged into political drama that does nothing for its people. Canada saw a leader who is not distracted. Not intimidated. Not waiting for permission. A leader who is building, brick by brick, a stronger, more sovereign, more ambitious Canada. And if this is the beginning of the new era Carney is shaping, then the world isn't ready for what Canada becomes next.
Canada debates.